My 33F husband, 35M, said something disgusting and I can't move past it. I'm 33F and my husband is 35 meters. We've been married for 8 years. We're going through a rough patch at the moment. A few weeks ago, my husband went out with a few of his friends and my brother Ron. At the time, my husband's brother Toby, 25 meters, had just gotten engaged to his current fiancée Isabel, 23F. Though Toby had not been invited to this outing, my brother told me that night my husband indulged a lot. He doesn't often. Ron said that my husband admitted that he had always thought that Isabel, who had been friends with Toby for 15 years, had always had a crush on him, and even after she had begun dating Toby, he had thought they were going to hook up, eventually. One of my husband's friends said that just because she was engaged to Toby didn't mean anything, and he just laughed. And another one of his friends said that them getting married just meant she'd be around more often. After my brother told me about this conversation, I confronted my husband and he told me he didn't remember saying that or much else from that night, but he did tell me he had always thought Isabel had a crush on him and had never told me because he thought I would have acted strange around her. I'm having a hard time moving past this. The way my brother described my husband's attitude and conversation that night was completely disgusting and disrespectful to our marriage. What's bothering me the most, though, is my husband can't remember saying any of it, so he thinks it should just be discounted and I shouldn't take it so seriously. So he just thinks I should move past it. Meanwhile, he's helping Toby and Isabel move into their new house, sometimes being alone with Isabel for hours while Toby works. I've even spoken to another one of his friends who was there, who told me it was just rambling and I shouldn't put any stock into it. Although I know that this friend's loyalty is with my husband and not me. I don't want to overthink something, but I also don't want to brush something under the rug that shouldn't be. Do I move past this? Also, when was he planning on hooking up with her, because she was 15 and he was 27 when you all got married? The ages make this post so much worse. Now it's only up to Isabel, because you can be 100% sure your husband is down if the situation arises. You should tell Toby. Your brother is the only person in this story making sense and doing the right thing. Please believe your brother, who loves you and wants the best for you. Your husband know what he said, he's just denying it. You should tell Toby and Isabel that your husband is making this gross comments about his brother's fiancée that he knows since she was a child. If I were Isabel, I'd want to know that I'm wasting my time being polite to someone who's making this sorts of comments behind my back. Honestly, this man sucks. He has no respect for you, his brother, and the fiancée that probably looked up to him as a brother. Just to check, your husband met Isabel when she was 8 and he was 20. And he's always thought she has a crush on him? Please tell me I'm misreading this. 1. Ages makes this so disgusting. 2. Whether he remembers saying it is moot. He's not denying the sentiment. Your husband is a pig. You don't have to move past it. Your husband never denied what he said. Even if he didn't remember, he could have said, "Wow, I should have never said that," etc., etc., etc. He is not shocked by his comment because it's what he really thinks, and he even tries to turn tables by blaming this woman. She has a crush, so eventually I'll be tempted to have sex with her. And you are so jealous I cannot tell you things. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to move past this. I'm not sorry, because your husband will be around her, alone, and that would make me see red. Your husband doesn't get to tell you or expect you to move past this. He did this. He remembers. And he still feels that way. How would he feel if you did that? He would lose his mind. Look, I know you guys have 8 years together. But can you honestly look at Isabel now and not think about her having a crush on your husband? Does his brother know what your husband thinks, said? What would he do if he did? I would be so curious. How does Isabel act around your husband usually? Have you ever had a suspicion that he crushes on him? Is she oblivious to his thoughts? Or does she stare at him to long or laugh at all his jokes? Even the unfunny ones? What your husband said was, quite frankly, rather gross. Isabel is 12 years younger than him, and his brother's fiancée, and he's looking forward to her being around more often so he can indulge in this fantasy of her being attracted to him. What do you mean by the rough patch that you're going through? I'd look into that a bit more since it seems to have started when your husband was helping them move. I would 100% not be okay with him spending time alone with Isabel. I wouldn't be sure about continuing the marriage at all, tbh. If another man had told you, you might get a lot of, he's just jealous, just trying to split you up, etc., but it's your brother, and we can assume what he told you is true. I wouldn't hold it against Isabel, because she may have done nothing to make him think she likes him. Sound more likw. Your husband has always had a crush on Isabel and is projecting. I haven't delved too deep into the comments, but if he knew her since she was 8 and he's pretending she has a crush on him out of his own desires, that's pretty gross. It's hard moving past this just like that. He said he had, though they were going to hook up eventually. When eventually? If you are married for 8 years? What does that mean? That he already hook up with other girls? Or plans to? I mean, he speaks like that about his brother's fiancée. He doesn't have any sense of boundaries or respect. Even that he says that you would feel strange around her. Like why? Because he was planning to do something? I don't know. Maybe just be more careful with his actions. Though Toby had not been invited to this outing, so Toby doesn't know about the way his own brother and his friends talk about his future wife. He met when she was literally a little kid. He was already an adult. It's disrespectful to you and your marriage, and also to his brother. I would have told Toby, tbh. Lies. He remembers. Also, if he just thought Isabel had a crush and he had no plans on doing anything with her, the conversation would have been very, very different. He floated it in the open to get validation from his buddies to make a move. I suggest you re-examine who your husband is. Maybe he said something off-putting over the years. Any weird behaviors, especially during sex. Anytime you doubted him and still don't have an answer. If you have nothing good. If you remember things you packaged away, then let them out and consider him as a whole person. Inkle. The dark spots. The thing that crossed my mind hearing your tale was the percentage of women who are raped by someone they know. At a minimum, she may see him as an older brother or uncle-like figure. There is a power dynamic there, to be sure. If he is convinced she wants him, he may compartmentalize sexual assault as her playing coy. How difficult would it be for her to then report it? The effect it would have on her life. Maybe that's extreme. And maybe he is just an asshole who needs a serious course correction. Or maybe it's something worse. I don't know your husband. You do. In vino veritas. The alcohol loosened his inhibitions. And he said what he's been thinking all this time. I wouldn't be able to move past this either. He's a wannabe cheater. If he isn't one already. Husbands can be replaced. Brothers are forever. Listen to your brother. You certainly should speak with Isabel and Toby and warn them about double face of your husband. In fact, your husband certainly remembers what did he say but does not want to be responsible for repercussions. So he fakes, "I was too drunk to know what I was saying." Sit down with him and ask openly why he said that. If you are not enough for him to lust over the younger girl, is he aware he was not only disrespectful to you, your relationship, but also your brother Toby, and said Isabel? Because he clearly stated he would not mind cheating on you if Isabel was in the picture.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. throwRAcjrls is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.